Welcome to Surf Dudes with Attitude, a special end of the season recap episode. Hello, this is Pete from New York City. Welcome
And this
back.
is Zach from Nashville, Tennessee.
And I'm George Howell from Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Y'all, we did it. We got through the whole season, and we're doing a filler episode. This is basically a clip show. Something I rallied against as a kid, and I hate even more now, but we're going to do it because we've earned it. Okay, we've done 13 episodes, and we've done 2 side projects this whole season. Right? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And
we did Full House and Who's the Boss?
Yeah, and we did a special interview. Oh, no, we didn't. No, we did a movie. We did Miami Connection, which you guys saw last week, I think. Depending when this drops. But anyway.
My memory keeps getting worse the older I get. Not because we're editing or recording out of sequence or anything.
And the show is out of sequence.
It's true. For this episode, this is a really special episode. We're going to look back on all the music videos that we've seen through the first season of California Dreams. And joining us is an actual music video director, beaming all the way in from Berlin, Germany, John McClellan. Hello. Friend of the show, friend of me, fellow Pennsylvanian. Thanks for coming on. How are you doing?
Dankeschön. I'm good. Thanks for having me. Really looking forward to talking about what these are. Yeah.
I hope you felt inspired watching these. Is this your first time? Are you familiar with the show? Have you seen the show? Did you grow up with it like Pete?
I never even asked that.
Yeah, I totally I don't remember it, but then the moment I heard the theme song, I got these, heat wave flashbacks to some point in my childhood where I was
that's
like,
called
wait
menopause.
a second.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. and all of a sudden I started remembering these people. And it was, so I guess I have seen the show and I do remember tiny bits and pieces. So, and then I was watching the podcast. So I'm back into it, I guess. You drug me back in.
I did. We really thank you for coming on because this was one early idea to have an actual people from the industry come on and dissect some of this stuff. So you were, just because you're the only music video director we know doesn't mean that you're not important. So
and he's a really excellent, exceptional music video director, actually. So
well, he does all types of videos. John, you want to tell us how you ended up in Germany? What your you want to do some name dropping? That's your whole thing.
Well, I know Pete and I know George, so there's the first 2 names.
That's all you need.
I'm on my way. Pete and I actually met in college. Go State, we are.
We can read.
Anyways, I studied film, Penn State, worked in New York for 7 years and shot a couple live shows for Pete with his band You Bred Raptors, shot one of their music videos. Holy shit, probably over...
I think it was 10 years at this point.
At least 10 years.
I think it was...
No, longer. It was 10 years. 2013, I think, or 2012.
Yeah.
And then in around 2015, 2016, somewhere around there, moved to Berlin, where I've been working as a director of photography, cinematographer, and director. So, and I shoot commercials, narrative films, and music videos. And actually, I'm really excited because I was recently asked by a university to teach music videos. And
so this is gonna be in your syllabus, right?
Yeah. So literally I was like, whenever I put on my jacket with the leather patches and I look at this with my pipe and I think about these, it was fun to really theoretically figure out what the fuck they were thinking. Speaking of which, are we allowed to swear?
Oh,
No.
fuck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can. It's late at night.
Put the babies to bed because it's 11 o'clock in Berlin.
Yeah.
This is a children's television show. There's no swearing.
Okay, great. Okay.
There is a cast member on the show that we found out is Mormon, so I don't think they're going to do the show regardless. So we're not going to scare anybody away with swearing.
Okay. Okay. Will you get
John-
one of their 10 children to do the show?
Possibly.
Yes.
Okay.
We're still holding out hope.
Okay.
John,
A lot of chances.
John, we've not spoken in a while, but I will say that I've been having extensive conversations with somebody pretending to be you on my email. I don't know. Like every couple of months, I'll get an email that says it's from you, and it's like, you won't believe these embarrassing photos I found of you. And then below is the most nefarious link that
Oh
I've
no,
ever
Pete,
seen.
that
That is
actually
you?
yeah.
Because you
You
misspell
wouldn't
your
believe
name
these photos
constantly.
I found of you, man. Yeah. I told you not to go to Cancun.
Yeah, you better
Oh,
give them
well.
3 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that
That's
it's the
great.
real you. Like we said, John is a professional in the industry, so we wanted to bring him on to kind of dissect what the California Dreams did. Now, some of the videos, there's 4 of them throughout the first season. Some of them are self-produced, and some are, we don't know who produced them because they either come out of nowhere, or in the case of this time, this might all be in Jenny's head.
So
So,
before we jump into it, because I know looking at this, through the lens of 30 years ago, these are definitely a little. I don't. It's easy to poke fun at something like this. So before we jump into that, John, what goes into making a music video? How much work is it? What do you have to think about before you just start shooting? What kind of preparation does it take to do something like this?
The crazy thing about music videos is I think normally these days it especially happens quite often where they're on a very compressed timeline. I have no clue why, because maybe I don't know enough, and maybe you guys can answer this from the music side, but I've literally shot a music video where the director called me on a Tuesday, and and this was for, I think Universal was the label behind it, with the artist, and the director calls me and he's like, "Hey, yeah, we're not going to shoot that music video this week." That was a Tuesday. Wednesday morning, he calls me back and says, "Oh yeah, we're going to shoot that music video tomorrow."
fuck.
And and I'm like, "Whoa!" And he's like, and I haven't met this guy in person. Like the production company teamed me up with him, and I didn't know the artist either. I didn't even know the song. So, and then they're like, I go to meet with this guy, and they're like, "Okay, I see waves in my head whenever I watch this music video." And I'm
They
like,
didn't,
"Wait."
they didn't even have like a storyboard. It's just
And then he had like put together 8 images of what he thought of whenever he heard the song. And he's like, and we like literally got to know each other over coffee for like 2 hours, talked about actually shooting this thing for half an hour. And then the next day at 12 o'clock, we walked into a studio the size of like an aircraft hangar, like a giant studio. And then we made a music video like for the next like 14, 16 hours. So I've had a lot of music videos that happen on like a really compressed timeline. And a lot of my friends talk about, I think it's like turning into that because I don't know, I guess the industry changed quite a bit, obviously with streaming, that the song, it's like the labels like throws a dart at a board with a bunch of singles on it. And it's like, that's the song we're going to do. We need to make a music video because we're going to release it in 2 days. And then boom. So a lot of it, I guess the process is like somebody has an idea, they listen to the song, the idea rounds out, and then the label says, we're going to give you X amount of money. And then the artist hopefully shows up, you make the music video, and it goes into post production for like a few weeks, and then it gets put out if you're lucky, if everything works out. That's the process. But it sometimes it happens on like you have 2 weeks from the start to the finish.
when you go to shoot a music video, it's not just about whatever story or concept you have planned out. There's a lot of equipment and lighting involved
Yeah.
with that. So what's that process like? Like, you're not just coming in holding up your cell phone and making people do goofy stuff. You have to plan
No.
some element of it out.
$1,000
Yeah, I
idea,
mean,
George.
yeah. So basically, the way which the process normally works is the director, or if I'm the director and I hire a DP, but um, they have the presentation. You see what you can get away with the budget that the studio is going to provide you or the artist, and then um, basically it's what can we afford gear wise. So you build a gear list. You talk with your gaffer. That's the person who's in charge of the lighting. So the DP or cinematographer, that's the head of visuals, has to translate technically what the directors come up with, the vision. Then they have to pass that down to the rest of their crew, which is the gaffer who's in charge of lighting, the camera assistants. If you have any specialty equipment like a crane or gimbals or anything like that, you might have a crew that comes in and does that specifically. And then you have the production designer, so you have to translate that into the production designer. And yeah, I mean, it's basically like once the wheel gets set in motion, there's so much experience that comes in because you have to know these things, right? Like, and you have to be able to figure it out really quick.
Right.
And yeah, it's camera, lenses, lighting package, specialty equipment package. What can the production designer pull off in how much time? Costume, starting build like design, build costumes right away, things like that. So this all goes into it. And I mean, it's always this thing of how much money can we throw at a problem? That's basically it.
Right.
So that's kind of how it all works out. And then just hoping it all works and hoping the artist shows up. That's also actually really like you wouldn't believe how often artists just never show up.
Right.
Or like they show up 3 hours late. I mean, I did a music video last year. The artist showed up 2.5 hours late.
What?
And we were banking on natural light. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so like the sun's setting and I'm like, where the fuck is this person? You know what I mean? Like, it's their music video. And I think that's the funniest part. It's for them. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's not like they're doing me the favor,
Right. Yeah, they're only
or
hurting
like,
themselves.
yeah, it's only pain on their end. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
just kind of wanted to set that up because like these go back to the early days of music videos, and
Yeah.
it's easy to kind of mock them because of that. But I mean, like music videos are a really important step in videography. Like I know David Fincher started out doing music videos. A lot of really big directors cut their teeth on doing music videos. So
I
it's
mean,
not
Roger Deakins even shot a Paul McCartney music video. It's the only one he ever did, but I mean, a dude who
Dude,
got knighted for his cinematography. You know what I
right.
mean? Like,
are you a
yeah,
fan of
or
his
like,
his podcast?
I am.
It's really good.
It's good. It gets a little. I can't believe I'm saying this about God. This is blasphemy. It gets a little like because he's the camera daddy, right? Like we all bow
That's
down
so
to him.
kinky.
Yeah. But he really. Hold on. Um, I heard noises.
Is Roger Deakins in the
No,
other room?
he is actually.
He heard you talking
He,
shit.
no, no, no. But no, his podcast is good. I mean, it's a different level, and also I think he's in the rarefied atmosphere of having the luck of having his wife work with him.
Right. She does the
Um,
producing,
which
yeah.
yeah, so she basically handles all of his technical specs, which I think is cool. But no, I mean it's a really good resource if you want to find out about some really high level production. His is great, and he is a wizard. But yeah, a lot of like George said, a lot of people got Spike Jones. I mean, like those Beastie Boys music videos from the 90s are still
Yeah.
some of the greatest music videos of all time. And I think whenever I watched all of these, and I know we're going to get into it later, but I looked at it through the lens of the music videos I fell in love with in the 90s. You know what I mean? So I tried to stay in that range. And yeah, I mean, they did spend money on these. Like, I can see it where it went. And I know these
Oh,
weren't that cheap and easy to make.
oh, I'm so excited. Good. Because otherwise, it's just us being like, look at them goofy outfits. So I'm glad we're going to have at least
Oh, look
some
at
kind
them.
of professionalism.
Look at them running and jumping on the beach.
Yeah. Okay,
It
would
was
you guys
actually,
want to... What's up?
I will say there is a fun homework for this before people watch this at home. Go in, because I think this was season one was 1993, right?
92, 93. Yeah.
92 to 97. Yeah, so
Season
we
one
found
was
out
like,
they're
yeah.
basically filming the same time as the LA riots. So
Yes.
Yeah, if you ever
Go in and
forget, just
type
remember
in
that.
top music videos from 92 and 93, and then
they'll look
watch
very
these.
similar. Okay. You heard it here, folks.
You can see-
If you're gonna listen to this, definitely listen to these, or watch these 4 music videos from season 1. And throughout these, we'll tell you which episode they're on. So, and they're all on YouTube, as with everything else on Surf Dudes with Attitude. Follow along in California Dreams, and if you have any questions for us, surfdudeswithattitude@gmail.com, and everything else you can find at surfdudeswithattitude.com. So, do you guys want to get into this? You want to start pulling this shit apart?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. All right. So the first one up is, of course, the titular California Dreams. We didn't know as you first start the pilot episode that this not only song was going to be included in the episode of them writing it, but the music video. No, we don't know why it pops up. It just pops up. But this song was written by Matt for this girl named Randy Joe for their first gig at her Sweet 16 party. Does that shed any light, John, now that you know the context a little? I assume you didn't watch the full episode.
Nope, it doesn't. Like, it does nothing to explain anything.
Yes. Okay.
In fact, I think I'm more confused now than I was before.
I mean,
Well-
I disagree. I think it explains everything, but
Well, it's easy to tell if anybody's seen any of it that this is just B-roll from the intro. That's at least what I found. And I know Zach did some sleuthing today and found some cool stuff. But basically, it's just them goofing around on a beach, jumping on a trampoline. That's the gist of this video, right? Am I missing any major plot narratives there?
There's-
Yeah, it has
Palm
some other
trees.
people there. There are palm trees. There are some. There's a little bit of surfing, which is important. I think it's the
That's
only
the
surfing we actually
only outside
see.
shot we get all season, John. Do you realize
Oh, yeah,
that?
there's
No,
some-
no
Some
establishing
people
shots.
at the beach,
yep, playing on the beach.
and I want to
Oh, wow.
draw attention to my outfit and the choice for it. This is one of the sort of unsung heroes. I'm one of 2 sort of beach mimes who were there dancing.
Are
Intermixed
you
here.
the dudes that are doing the?
I am. Yes, thank you for noticing.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't see it. Patreon people can see it, but John is doing the Egyptian, I think it's called. And there's
There's a
couple
bit of
quick-
that. There's some sort of robot type moves. It's a lot of like early
Yeah.
pop and jerk
Is
stuff.
that in the intro?
Very
no.
It's barely in the television
Barely.
intro. There's like a half a second or something like that you
Yeah,
can barely see them. But
You
Very
see
short.
them.
In the
You
cut,
see
there's-
far less beach bods in the intro. I noticed they
Mhm.
cut out a lot of those. I think to make room for the family. And
Okay. And
Yeah.
here's a few questions now that I'm learning something about the intro being recycled for this.
Yeah.
The scenes where they're singing to the camera
Right.
and we're actually seeing them sing, those aren't in the intro though.
there
They
are
are.
some in the intro. It's
It's all-
significantly cut down, but they are still there.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so the
Okay.
intro has uses many of the shots that are from the full video, and then also incorporates the family walking on the beach, the 2 parents, and then the
With
younger
the
brother.
with the tobacco filter on top like
Yes.
this
Yes.
turbo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's all the
Um,
same aesthetic.
There's
Yeah.
an extra.
that is
There's an
called a
extra.
tobacco filter, just so you know.
This is
Good to
good to
know.
know.
Yeah,
This
that
is
is called a
which one
tobacco filter.
specifically? Like the
Virginia Slims, I
the-
think.
Yeah. But yeah. So those shots of them walking on the beach with the sunset, that is the tobacco. I mean, wow. It's what they use in Top Gun too. The original
There it
Top
is.
Gun. Yeah.
this is great. The
So
original, not to be confused.
yes,
Yeah.
with the second one, which was also brilliant
It was
in its own
basically
regard.
the same film, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
less
that's it.
tobacco.
So the beach, the playing with the boys moment where they're all playing beach volleyball, this is the same filter.
Uh, actually, it's the same filter from whenever the planes are taking off in the beginning, and it's like that really orange
Very
brown.
hazy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe on Top Gun they use something called a well, I'm pretty sure they used a grad filter where it's darker in top and goes down, and they might use the same one here too. So
Oh.
the effect gets stronger as you go up into the sky.
And that was just the AD for like a month straight, just like smoking cigarette, just blowing smoke into the lens in preparation.
That's my favorite part of that name of filter. It's actually more like what your fingers would have looked like if you had worked on like a tobacco plantation. That brown
it's a
gummy
caked on
tar.
couch
Yeah.
stained yellow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, bingo. But we've churched it up and we call it a tobacco filter. But yeah.
Baby.
Guys, can I raise a question here?
Please.
We keep on saying that they use the footage from the intro
Uh-huh.
in the music video,
Uh-oh.
but
It's the other way
could
around.
they be
really.
using the footage from the music video
Yeah.
in the intro?
That's what they did. They obviously they obviously shot this first and then cut it up and added a couple extra B-reel into it.
Oh yeah.
That's huge.
It was a rhetorical question.
The famed Cypress Hill rapper, yes, be real.
I do like also that they set the tone here. And I don't know if they do this in the show. I actually have no clue if they I don't think they do. Do you guys know what a Dutch angle is?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
like
when you-
cockeyed. Right?
Yeah, it's basically whenever to explain to the viewers at home who can't see us, it's basically whenever you tilt the camera so it's off angle. And because there's such a what's the word? Superfluous? Can I
Yeah,
use
that's
that
right.
phrase? It's a superfluous amount of them. I mean, basically 90% of the shots are Dutch angles here. Nothing is level, zero camera level. I was like, I need to go and look up the etymology of the Dutch angle.
Are you allowed to
And the
call it
Dutch-
a Dutch angle? Isn't that kind of a pejorative now?
Well, it is also called a German angle, I found out, which I did not know.
They're crooked people. They are.
They are. But the Dutch angle actually comes from wars fought between the British and the Dutch in like the 1700s, and they called it the Dutch angle for some reason. And then because it was so off kilter, it became in film language the Dutch angle or the German angle.
Okay.
Nice.
And it made it all the way to California Dreams in the 90s. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
The Dutch Rudder podcast. You heard it here, folks.
And historically, wouldn't they use that in film to sort of like indicate to the audience that something off was happening, or like
Yes,
the
100%.
character's untrustworthy, or just to make you feel a little weird?
Yeah.
And I guess, or in this case, dreamy.
Kooky.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yes.
Kooky. I mean, this is MTV in the 90s pop through and through. It was
Pretty much.
let's throw the camera as much around as possible. I mean, it's this glam lighting. There's like a lot of glimmer glass filters being used, big soft lighting sources coming straight onto the face, like beauty dish style, which you would use in photography. You almost look like a deer in the headlights, which I kind of think they all are at this point in their careers. And
Yeah,
And
this is obviously the first thing that they had ever shot for this
It's
show.
the,
exactly.
no one knew how
And I
successful
just,
this show was going to be for 30 years.
yeah, I really love just the egregious amount of Dutch angles. I mean, that's all this is. It's just they can't keep the camera level. It was like the director was like that, like Adam Driver meme, where it's just more, and that's just what this is.
You touched on something that I was trying to preface on at the beginning, was that all of these music videos that we're going over are pretty standard for what was going on in
Oh,
actual
yeah.
music videos for the time.
For sure, 100%. It wasn't like they were reinventing any wheels here.
No.
The wheel was sideways and falling off the cart all the time in the 90s. So
Right.
they
Yeah.
were on
These were all very well done for what was popular at
Yeah.
the time.
George is
Yeah.
he's gassing these up. I'm very
Yeah,
surprised.
like they kind of. I mean, and you can confirm on a technical level, they seem though, because in prepping for this too, I was looking at a lot of videos from the same years, and they seem to hold up against those contemporaries.
I even
were
think
you
it might have been
referencing-
shot on film and not on digital.
Oh,
for
it was
whatever-
92. It had to have been digital, or it had to have been film, right?
Right.
No, they could have shot it on Betacam, or VHS-C or Super VHS or High 8. There's a lot of other ways. I mean, the show is shot, I think, on Betacam, or it's direct to tape. I don't think
Really?
the show is shot
Jesus.
on film at all.
Wow. I didn't pick up on that. That
Yeah,
I mean-
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that would
So-
make sense. But
This is huge. If everybody needs a
This-
minute to take this in,
This is
we
huge.
understand.
Zach, did you have to
I
do
mean-
all that research on 90s music videos because you weren't alive back then?
Yeah.
Who,
Well,
Okay.
me or
Okay,
Pete?
No,
take it
Wait,
easy.
who?
Zach.
Take it easy.
Zach's the young guy in the podcast.
I'm a bit of a young gun. All right, I was born in
Okay.
'90, so I was barely existing when this show came out, and that's partly why. So, John, you don't know. Pete invited me to do this show, and I had never heard of it or seen it. So, I have
Oh, I
never
like that.
watched it. I'm watching
That's a
it
fun
as it
angle.
goes on. I don't know what happens next. I know that the intro changes, which is part of why I knew this would be my last chance to dress as one of the best characters in the intro and music video.
The mime.
The mime.
I am upset that you're not on a trampoline. Because that was
It's
a
only
big
gonna be-
feature.
You do have earbuds now. There's no reason you couldn't do it.
There is a couch. You can jump up and down on the couch.
You're right. I'm currently on a bouncy object. When we do the recap, maybe I'll move
Okay,
around.
good.
Someone can throw
Costume
stuffed
change.
animals and balls at me.
I just want to say, like, to wrap up this video, there's an extra verse. There's an extra guitar solo. Although there's no close-up of Matt playing the solo. That's something we didn't get in the intro. Tony shares a verse in here, and there's a kind of a bitchin' guitar solo that isn't even shown or heard in the intro. So does it make the song a little more badass? No. But it's not as wussy as the intro would kind of denote. So I do want to kind of to shed light on that, because we've been talking some smack on the actual theme of this show, but I guess there was a little more to it, just a tad more, but truncated
it's not-
obviously for time.
It's not just standard verse, chorus, verse. They do have a bridge.
They do have a bridge.
It's
They also
true.
have in here.
Tough times
Zach
in the
found
neighborhood.
something. Zach found something today that was interesting. We had our suspicions this was shot on the same day, but Zach found something. If you want to tell the audience what that is.
Are you,
Bated breath.
you talking about Dennis?
I am.
There's a very quick shot. So there's in the intro, which is different, as we're talked about. It's different from the video. The family has been added into it. Dennis, the little brother, he's not going to be in it any longer. He's only in this first season.
Mhm.
And there's a shot you get to his close up in the intro. He's holding something, but you don't really see it. In the music
Is it the
video, there's
bull?
a very quick shot where you do get to see what he's holding. And it's
Is it
a
the bull?
horned monster.
Is it a
It is
pinata?
a-
What is?
I
Is it
didn't
something he
know
wins at the
that.
carnival?
It is so fast, and he's got this sort of like he's squinting in the sun. You can't tell if he's plotting or if he's pleading for help silently. That's kind of Dennis's whole thing. This whole season is he's kind of plotting, but he seems troubled.
So I
We
He's
see-
didn't.
acting out.
I
You
didn't
see,
go
at the
anywhere
last
near.
episode, he's been lost. So
Yeah.
maybe this is when he gets kidnapped, and this is his cry for help, and none of us are seeing it.
So
Yeah.
I didn't do anywhere near the amount of detective work you did for this, but was it like it's definitely a horned animal? Was it like a unicorn or a narwhal or?
It's 2 horns, so it's. I mean, you saw a bull,
bull.
John.
Yeah, it's a bull.
It's a bull. I don't know. It's monstrous. The face is hard to make out.
But
It's-
but they're at a carnival, so he won something at the carnival, and he's walking along the beach, where it's probably the
Wait,
boardwalk,
they're
right?
at a
'Cause this is-
carnival? Where's
there's
the
no-
carnival?
I didn't
there's no
see-
carnival.
there is a
It-
carnival. Somebody's
Okay.
playing
No,
a game
Pete.
at the carnival.
No,
What?
it's her jumping on a trampoline. What? Where is this carnival?
There's a game
Okay.
at a carnival. What's the game?
I have a note here that said, "Did he win that in a carnival?" So there's a carnival game that's going on near the end of the video.
So,
I
is there a
think-
carnival game going on, or did you just write? Did he win that at a carnival?
Make it up, okay?
I don't know about this.
I don't remember that at all.
Okay.
I
here
mean,
we
there's
go.
a lot to see, and also that like blink and you miss it. That shot of Dennis with the bull creature.
I'm doing my due diligence as a producer, and I'm rewatching the music video right now.
That's I
Same.
can't believe I have to. How much of it's going to keep in?
Oh, there it is. I just saw it. Hold on.
Fuck you. That's right. So
No,
I think
no, no.
they went.
I did
I
not
went on
see
the
a carnival.
boardwalk.
I'm sorry. No. There was no carnival.
God damn it.
Oh, I need to find the bull. There, it's coming.
It's so fast.
I'm really frame fucking this thing right here, but that's what we call it in the industry.
Oh, cool.
Also, this is. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
There's bicycles.
Can you see
Which-
that? Do you see the bull?
It's so fast. It
I mean-
happens like it's alarmingly fast.
It is 110% a bull.
Okay.
It is,
Okay,
it
I
is a
see.
minotaur head. He's a minotaur. The boy is a minotaur. That's his dream.
That's his dream. That's
Okay.
his California
We
dream.
found out.
Okay, I see it. You know what? When I first saw this, because it's
Okay.
very washed out, this is probably has to do with the tobacco filter.
There was absolutely no carnival.
Okay.
His-
No.
His mouth, okay, so that's the bull's nostrils. It looks like the bull's eyes from this angle, and it's well, it's still a monster.
We are the
Where's
Am
his
monsters.
body?
Am I allowed to present an image?
Yes, images are fine, just no audio.
Let's see if I can find this. Bad Larry. Window. There it is. One bull, everybody.
Are you presenting to it?
I should be streaming it to your screens right now.
Oh, it's coming.
there.
There
it
it
is. I
is.
see it. Wow.
It's just as quick as it happens.
I'm saying it looks like something you would win at a carnival. Why else would he be carrying it around? It's his emotional support bull. It just doesn't make
Okay,
any sense.
so you are there is no carnival.
I guess
but
I just look back. I'm willing to say I was wrong. I think I was just making a joke in the notes, and I was like, I said, "What the
I mean,
fuck is
Pete,
Dennis holding?
look.
Did he win that in a carnival?" So it doesn't mean I'm wrong.
There's some.
It could have been an off-camera carnival, Dutch angle, tobacco filter carnival.
Sure. Well, we do see when they're jumping on the trampolines. At first, they're just jumping, and then they start to like add balls and they add stuffed animals. Like there's more
Yeah.
flying in the air as it goes.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the bull does not appear with the trampolines, but
No.
other things do.
Mhm.
Well, just like where
Um,
Dennis ends up, we're never gonna know where it came from or where it went. So, do you
Or
guys
why.
want to move
What a
on?
shame.
You want to move on to the next one?
To the boys to men. Yeah.
Yeah, so
The boys to men, exactly.
this next video comes from episode 3. It's called Rain, and in the video,
It's called Weatherman.
no, it is not.
It's going to be rain, is what.
Oh my god. Okay, all right. George is. That's crazy. It's called Rain everywhere else. All right, George.
It's gonna be rain.
George
It's
has.
gonna be rain.
Can you show us what you just grabbed, George? We have the official California Dreams CD. This has to be a finite available, a number available out there.
Yeah, it's called
And
It's Gonna Be Rain.
It's
Okay.
it's
Guys.
gonna be rain, but it's not. It's gonna be a weatherman. What did you say it was?
I said Weatherman. I was wrong on that, but I knew it wasn't rain.
Well, I think I was closer.
Yeah.
So anyway, John, in this episode, Tony meets a girl and then 10 seconds later begs Matt to sing this song to her, and dedicates this to her. And then right away their amp blows up. But they do finish this song later in the season. But the end of this episode, we don't get them to perform it, but we see them start it. And then we see this music video, and it comes out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting it. Definitely an episode worth listening to.
Was rain or ventriloquism prevalent in the episode?
we were all upset by the dummies.
Okay,
The main thing.
so I'm gonna
prevalent-
chalk
Go ahead.
this music video up to massive amounts of cocaine being used in the early 90s in Hollywood. Because I'm pretty sure it was just like a couple guys in a room like, what the fuck are we gonna make? And then somebody said ventriloquism and somebody did a line and was like, fuck yeah. And then because I have no idea where this fits. It's just is there. And I love
Yeah.
it for being there.
Yeah, I
This
do
is one of
too.
those ideas I wish I could come up with. But
Yeah, I love it. These, and they play it so straight, like the ventriloquist dummies, that they are just here, that he's like confiding in them. He's singing
Yes.
straight to one of them.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Mhm.
I think the obvious explanation was Jeff Dunham was working on here, and they're like, "We need something else for this music video." And he's like, "Well, I've got a couple ventriloquists in my trunk. Hold on."
I mean, that's terrible. But George makes a good point. I think it's literally just whatever they had on the set, and I think that's what we talked about on the episode when we talked about it. Because this song was first featured in episode 3, "Beat of His Own Drum," and that's the one where they auditioned drummers for this song, and it was a completely different intro. That's the end of the episode. Tony's dad loves him again. But then in episode 7, when he dedicates it to a girl, which I found was interesting, because if you read the lyrics to this song, did anybody read the lyrics to any of these? They have their own fucking website. This song is like, it's the most sad breakup song ever. It's basically like, every time I go outside, I think of her, and it's going to be rain outside because I'm just going to be bawling uncontrollably. And
Yeah.
this is the song that he dedicates to that racist Chris Pine's sister, you know?
Yeah.
wait, this is Chris Pine's sister?
So, in that episode, the racist dad is played by Chris Pine's father. And you have worked with Chris Pine, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yes. So you can
Wow.
confirm that his dad is super racist.
You played it too well.
That is not true.
We don't know if it's not true.
John worked on. Can I tell what movie? Can you tell what movie you worked on? Like, 'cause I don't know if you want to blow up that spot, but
Oh, I don't mind. I mean,
okay. Because I went to
Yeah,
the premiere with you. I just want
Yeah.
everyone to know.
I
We went
did
to-
buy that
Yeah.
movie just because you worked on it.
there was a.
I worked
Go
on
ahead.
this. The first film I worked on after college as a production assistant was called Unstoppable, which was Chris Pine's big post Star Trek movie, and Tony Scott, rest in peace, his last movie with
Top
Denzel
Gun.
Washington. Yeah, and Top Gun,
And-
we're back there, baby. Tobacco
And it's
filter.
actually a decent movie.
Whoa,
Yeah, it had
let's calm down.
Had some fun. It was fun.
It is.
It was fun. Trains, all right?
Right.
Trains, helicopters.
Train day. That's what you called
Train
it,
day.
right?
Yeah, train day. Yeah. It was his second train movie of that year after Pelham 1, 2,
Yes.
3.
Yes.
Or yes.
And Denzel Washington was in Training Day.
That's why it's
Yeah,
called Train Day.
yeah.
It's see, it's just one.
It's a joke. It's a humor.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, Chris Pine was on it, and yes, we got to know Chris Pine quite well. I did not know about his
That's
racist dad, though.
He didn't talk about it. That's not surprising that he didn't
not
bring him up.
surprising. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Not
especially
really
not with
racist.
Denzel
Racist in
while
one
in the
episode.
train.
So it's very odd that this song is dedicated to this girl, because it's basically like, if you go out with me, we're gonna have a terribly fast relationship, and it's gonna be over really quick, and I'm gonna be a complete mess because of it. But I did notice in this video there's ping pong balls
As rain.
as rain, and there's umbrellas, so at least there's some kind of like cohesive narrative, but nothing else in this video makes any sense. Was this just done in an afternoon, John, and they just had a bunch of props laying around? That's what I thought.
I think it's a 2-day shoot.
Okay.
Or at least, I mean, the one thing which these guys have, and I will say that, like, for California Dreams, they're a studio show, right? So they know studio really well, and they're able to
Mhm.
do studio really well. So they probably had several studio lots at their disposal at any time, which is kind of incredible. So they could have done it in a day. It would have been tight though. Um, but that's why I think their issue with, well, when I say issue, you might say benefit, is they have too much stuff. Like, I mean, whenever you start this movie or this music video, it's just this Boys to Men, Blue Room, the rain on the window, which all made sense. This, like, I'm like, hey, this is on brand. This is what it should be. And then ventriloquist dummies. And you're just like, why did you
That are
you
moving.
had
Like
me.
someone is puppeteering these.
There's one moment where two of them spike the camera, like as a joke, like they both turn
Like
at
it's
the same
not
time.
just a prop.
And-
It's like there were puppeteers
Yeah.
on set.
And this is all
It
like
was
sandwiched in with like giant balloons and backup dancers and
There's a backup dancer in this one.
Yeah.
And she's good. Like, that's the thing.
Right.
There's a music video here, and then there's the ventriloquist dummy scenes with the balloons. Like, and I was like, it's one of those things. It's like, I think what they did was, because California Dreams, all these music videos are almost one for one ripoffs of other music videos. They have to, it's like, I'm going to paint the Mona Lisa, and then at the end of it, I'm going to draw a mustache on her so that they know that I'm not trying to steal the Mona Lisa. You know what I mean? Like, that was their
suspiciously
move.
specific.
Well, okay. Now you know
Like-
my plan.
I was gonna say that's the Mona Lisa, but wait, mustache.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that was the thing. They're like, so whenever Universal or RCA or whoever was going to, sue them for copyright infringement, or some director was just like, you'll never work in this town again because you stole my music video idea.
Mhm.
They're like, but did we? Because ours had dummies in it.
Well, all of
So,
And it becomes the most memorable part because it's such
For
a
sure.
like
But they're
And
not
all
that
that-
self-aware. They did not do this to be like, we're gonna fuck with people, are they? Like somebody thought this was like a good idea, right?
well, all of these were done with MCA, so I don't know how that played into
MCA.
effect, but because like
Which-
the album is like actually MCA,
mm,
like they worked with real studio musicians.
but who, like, I'm sorry, what did California Dreams air on? Was it ABC, CBS, NBC?
NBC.
NBC. And NBC owns, back then, MCA?
Everything. Yeah, probably.
I mean, G&E or G
Yeah.
or
That-
GE. at
That was
least.
back when they were
I
owned
know,
by General Electric, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just curious because I'm just thinking, like, they're like one for one ripping off other famous music videos, and then they just do the most random shit. So why? You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, why? Like, I really can't figure, like, and that's the thing that's keeping me awake at night since you showed me these a week ago is the why.
Kept asking for him earlier, and I was like, "You're not ready." Like, you don't want to do this to yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, like these would be decent, like top, like as good as what they're showing on MTV. Maybe 10% less,
So
maybe.
MCA was the legal predecessor of Vivendi Universal and thereby NBC Universal. So they did own the company.
Okay, it sounds like
Okay.
kickbacks to me.
Man, and they just love things floating in the air, and he's got ping pong paddles, and he's clapping them together. It's the kumbaya moments. That's what's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they're all in the white studio, that's where it just
Yes,
breaks down.
they're singing in
Everything
front of
else,
two condenser mics in there with some really suspect placing of the said condenser
yeah.
mics, but we're gonna let that go. As far as like a musical standpoint, I fucking hate this song. I always have the two times I played it on the show. But the guitar solo that's not in any of the episodes actually kind of slaps. I'll say that it's the most
Yep.
interesting part of the song, and you have to own the fucking CD to hear it.
I think it's a solid
Guys-
song for the '90s, but
Yeah, I like it.
I am bothered that every time the song is performed, that there is no one on the drums.
Yes, you
Mm.
should.
Yeah, that seems like a big miss. Also, I wanted to say that from the first music video. Why, whenever there's a solo, did they not cut to the classic solo shots?
So he does that within the episode if there's a solo, but
Uh,
in these and sometimes in the music videos, but on the first one we didn't get to hear it. But the songs on the show are different than the ones on the CD that we found. They're like truncated versions, but you know, in an ideal world,
dude,
we
I'm
get
wondering-
the full version.
Yeah, I'm wondering too. Like we know that they all sang their parts.
Yes.
We don't know if they played their parts in the studio. Like we know that Matt, the actor who plays Matt, must have learned a lot of these solos because his fingers do match what is being played, but we don't know if he was the guitarist in the studio. It's very unlikely.
I doubt it. Yeah.
I do know.
Yeah.
We're gonna
you
get
do
him
know.
to talk. We're gonna talk to him.
Because we have this.
Oh, George!
George has liner notes. Anybody
We
not on
do know.
Patreon?
Who did it? Is it true? Was it Brentley Gore?
For It's going to be Rain, the guitars were done by Michael Landau.
Yeah, he's a studio musician.
Um,
Not to be
I
confused
also-
with Michael.
Name?
Not to be confused with Michael Landon from Little House on the
Nah.
Prairie.
Okay, I was gonna
That-
say. I was like, wait a second. Is that a typo? Pa?
Okay.
You guys should really just go to 3 minutes and 59 seconds on the stream that Pete sent, because my favorite shot of everything which we're gonna watch or ever will watch happens right around 4 minutes.
I'm right there right now, and
So go to
Him dancing
Yes.
on the umbrella.
after the
he's got a
umbrella.
The dummies.
Whenever the dummies both turn to each other and they lock eyes, and it looks like they're
Yeah.
gonna kiss, and then
he's got
you're
a sick
thinking,
ass
and then
duster.
and then at 4 minutes and 2 seconds they get caught, and they're both like, "Ugh!" And I mean the dummy acting on this,
It's not bad.
It's
okay.
pretty top-notch.
So we're gonna move on. Maybe the dummies will come back in another season, although I'm doubtful.
God, I hope so.
So this next one is called "Everybody's Got Someone." George, is it called that on the CD? And you should know that this whole episode, which we originally wanted to get you on, but we had somebody ditch us, so we had to go solo, which is still turned out to be a great episode called "They Shoot Videos, Don't They?" This is the episode. Supposedly, this video is shot by Dennis, the 10-year-old brother, in a trash can. At least part of it.
The one
So-
with
That
the
makes
bull
sense.
monster on the beach.
what is the
For
trash
context.
can?
So they're shooting this. Supposedly, the entire music video that you see is being shot in secret, and the band doesn't know. So,
So Dennis is
Oh.
hiding in
Oh,
like a
he's-
big
he's
curbside trash
Hiding
can.
in a trash can.
he's hiding in
Right.
like
Yeah.
a 50-gallon trash can.
And like
And-
sneaking around and we have some B-roll of Matt just lonely around at like the movie
Yes.
theater and seeing his friends. So Dennis has been sneaking around filming this all in secret.
He's
Even
also
the moments where Matt is looking directly into the camera, that is
Yeah, so
all.
I don't know what kind of filter
secret.
you use to like turn off all the lights in the garage.
Yeah.
But,
He's also filming Sly just getting busy with a girl in a Corvette or something. So I would love
I
to
think
talk
it's in
about
the
with
theater, but yeah, it's
this.
this
And
is all
there-
important
yeah.
for context, I think, because there's not, I don't know, there's not a lot going on in it, but it is done in secret by a 10-year-old. And
Who's a creep?
thoughts?
And this was submitted to, as you saw in the clip, this was submitted to some kind of big contest, and what they would have won was $10,000 and a trip to New York City. So apparently they were one of the finalists.
pretty incredible that they were finalists, considering it was all shot from one camera in a trash can.
Mhm.
Well,
By a 10-year-old.
supposedly we found out on the episode that it was probably shot over a couple of weeks, but let's get into it. I will personally say that this is my favorite song of the season, even though the lyrics are very pathetic.
It's one of my least favorites. We've
It
argued
is
about
my
it.
least favorite.
I just said,
man.
okay. I would say it's the most intricate. It's the most in-depth song that they have. There are other songs that are catchier that we're going to talk about on the next half of this episode. But this one, I don't know. There's something about it that I was like, I kept singing for like a week after I learned it. So.
It's the one you took the time to really learn
yes,
fully,
yes.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What did you think about it, John? First impressions.
I mean, again,
He loves it. That's I can just see it on his face.
That single breath of air. Approval.
the moment which I saw, like, okay, the first one, I was like, whatever the fuck this is, I get it. The second one, I was like, this seems very familiar. And then this one was the uncanny valley where I'm like, I've seen this all before. I've been here. And then I went and looked up the music videos, and then Nirvana popped up. And I was like,
how?
there it is. There it is. And Nirvana, I believe in '93 produced 3 or 4 music videos,
Sure, never
which
mind.
is pretty incredible. And this is a bit of a mashup of several of those.
I demand receipts. What songs are you talking about?
You'd have to look them up, but I'm just saying, like, if
this
you
is your
look up
job.
Nirvana, I'm not that guy. I'm not the dude who's like, oh, shabba blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you, like, the outfits, the whole thing, like, I'm like, this is we're experimenting with grunge. That's all this music video. This
You're
was the
talking
grungy
about-
one.
You're talking about the black and white video in the Everybody's Got Someone But Me, that song, right?
The
You're not
black
talking
and
about-
white is in bloom, and that one doesn't really match up very well.
No,
Lithium, it's a little
it might have been
reminiscent of.
Lithium.
Lithium's it's like
think it
there's
might have been
tour
Lithium.
footage. Lithium.
Yeah. And I was like, this is where they're like trying to tap into Seattle's grunge to get the, Pacific Northwest market to come
Well,
in.
it's a very angsty song. You're not wrong there.
Yeah, we do have a lot of the similar color schemes here.
Bingo.
I'm scanning.
There's no gotcha moment here, all right, John? Calm down.
No, I really feel vindicated right now, Pete. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I mean, you're talking Nirvana. Like Heart Shaped Box is one of the best music videos that I still to this day I think. But so
Sure.
I'm really hoping that is not in the category that you're talking
no,
about.
no. Actually, you could even say the MTV Unplugged would fit into this. But as far as the look and the feel, I'm sure that what happened was they're like, we got to make this angsty song. We got to make
Yes.
a music video. And then
Mhm.
somebody was like rolling through Kurt Cobain in Rolling Stone. They're like, this guy. And then they
Mhm.
showed that. And then they're like, do this. And then they did
Come
that.
As You
on
Are
the
a little bit.
California.
Is that one of them?
Yes, that's a very
Come
Yeah,
As
I
You
think it was
one.
Come As You Are was another one.
I mean,
But-
for anybody that hasn't seen it, it's a very odd video. Matt is sullen, and he's talking about how everyone has a girlfriend or boyfriend or a partner, and then he's just like longingly staring at couples. Like we see the outside of Sharky's, or at least like the vestibule. He sees his parents on a date. He's at the movie theater, and everyone is like getting hand jobs except for him. he's just upset the entire time, you know?
Yeah.
And
His
yeah,
parents saying outside the patio was my favorite moment. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
the other,
the parents are
and
so in
I
love.
think, yeah, and I think the other thing that I love about this music video is I feel like they spent a lot of money on the first one in the pilot, right? Like, because they had shot all this crap. Like, they had gone to all these locations. I mean, the first music video took like probably 5 days of shooting. Okay.
what? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I want to guess two at the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah,
No,
because we
I
got
would.
beach. Yeah, break it down for us if you don't mind.
Okay, so the first one you got the girl on the trampoline. So you're gonna have a stunt day to have girl on the trampoline because she has to
Mm.
jump up. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but this is like legitimately like we're gonna have a safety meeting. We're gonna talk about how to jump on a trampoline. They're gonna have a stunt double that comes in and jumps on the trampoline for her, and she's gonna have
Uh-huh.
to learn how to like. There's gonna be a trampoline rehearsal day, okay?
Wow.
Because
Wow.
yeah,
Even in
so we're gonna have
92.
that. Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, I think that that's the thing. They spent just as much time and energy on this stuff in the 90s as they did later. Maybe even more
Mhm.
because they had more money to burn. So we have that. We have this beach sunset shot moment with the family. So you have to get all the cast there at the right time of day to shoot that moment. The lights got to be in the right place, so that's going to at least be half of your day organizing those people because you got to remember we're fitting on a union budget of time too, so you really have 8 hours then overtime. So you know your key grip's going to be like fuck it, after this fucking sunset shot I'm fucking out, like that's it, you know what I mean, or you're going
Classic
to pay
key
them a lot
grip.
of overtime. And because this is episodal TV, you have pretty tight budgets per episode, right? Like they're like, we're gonna spend, I don't know, back then, $150,000 on the first episode on the pilot, and then every episode after that's going to get a certain amount of budget, and we're going to lay it out going forward, right? So there's the beach sunset, there's the interior studio day where they have to perform over and over and over again. Then there's the night fire time scene day. Then there's them
All
all
right.
singing with the sunset behind them today. I mean, like, I'm just looking at all
Oh,
these
yeah.
things and
We're at 5 already.
look at, yeah, and easily look at it this way. How that's the one thing which this show does because they had to put everybody on the screen all the fucking time. So none of these music videos like The Weatherman could have just been, him doing his thing, which is how it should have been. But instead, they had to find a way with the dummies to get all the cast members. Same with
They're
this, with the
union
intro.
ventriloquist dummies. They need
And
a lunch
Okay,
hour.
you don't
Okay.
have the
Jeff
option of
threw 'em.
Princess Kate photoshopping everybody into the same scene. They all actually have to be doing the
That
same.
reference gonna age us,
Yeah.
George. Okay.
I mean,
So
just
so
getting all these bozos through wardrobe takes a lot of time. And then you got to do
okay.
makeup. And then I got to light it. And then, you know what I mean? And like maybe they had two rotating crews. Probably not, though.
Probably
Like,
not.
I'm just guessing. Yeah. So, like that first one, they spent a lot of money on. The second one, they spent some money on. And then they're like, how can we spend the least amount of money on the third one so that we can bank it into the fifth or into the fourth one? And they're like, let's pretend that we gave a 10-year-old in a trash can a fucking camera. And
Uh,
that is how you get this third one. It's the ugly middle child.
that's
That's
interesting.
what it
I
is.
would have thought this had the most time devoted to it because of all the different locations, but you're saying it looks like everything might have been done on the same day because there's actually no like outside shots, whereas the first one actually
No.
had. Interesting.
I mean,
Okay.
it's their
Hmm.
stage and it's their stage, and then it's the screening room at the
Yes.
studio. You know what I mean? They literally were probably just popping from one to the other. And the other thing they might have done with this one is they might have just shot it. And I'm gonna guess they did this way. That's how I would have done it to leverage the budget. They shot it within the episodes. So
Hmm.
this one where he walks into the vestibule and everybody's making out,
Hmm.
I'm guessing that they shot that at the tail end of another day. where they
I
already
see.
had the extras. You know what I mean? They already had the
Yeah.
people there, and they were like, "Hey, let's just do this." You know what I mean? Or they're like, "Let's just shuttle the extras down to the screening room in the studio, do the hand job movie theater scene."
There it is.
And
Yeah.
That was the
then
original title
my
for that.
and the only moment where I think that they push the boundaries here, in my opinion, is whenever they show the girl with the two guys.
Randy Joe, that's his ex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He likes to
I'm,
watch.
I, yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I was like, two dudes. I'm like, what is your worst case scenario when your ex breaks up with you? Getting banged by
She
two
left
guys.
me for
So,
multiple
like,
people.
right there it was, yeah. And I
Yeah.
like how they
Well,
put that in there. That's my favorite part.
we did see Tony was with two girls in this video, so everybody's
He
getting it
was?
except Matt, which makes sense because he's
Oh,
definitely like he's definitely the super nice guy throughout the show. But that's super interesting. Do you think, moving on to this last video, that like this was the coup de grace, this was the
yeah,
big
for
one?
sure.
Okay,
For sure.
so that one is called This Time, and this was the 12th episode of the season, and it Jenny has a boyfriend that is not great, and his name is Eric Cardinal on the show, and we actually just interviewed him for an entire episode talking about his time on California Dreams and then post California Dreams, if you guys want to listen to that.
Michael
But
Aaron was his name, the actor.
yes, and uh basically Matt comes in, asks her if she's okay, blah blah blah, and she's just hugging her pillow, and then she has this music video go on in her head. We don't know if it's an actual video, we don't know if it's the song they do because they haven't performed it. So can you talk about this video and what, because this looked like a lot. This looked like, because we did ask Michael, was he there for the other shoot, and he's like, that's not me, they shot somebody from the back to look like me. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did get
yeah.
that piece of info.
Things that stood out for me right away was this was well lit. They probably did shoot this in another. I don't know why it's giving a thumbs up to
Because
me on
you're
the screen. Um, it was well lit. It was the best framed. It had the most interesting camera movement.
Okay.
Um, so there's this wraparound dolly going on while they're in the main stage area. You can see the camera dollying and back and forth, back and forth. She's the best lit in this one. Like they have this nice soft key coming in from the side, the brightest light on her face.
You're
It
saying
actually looks like nice beauty.
Jenny, yes.
Yes, Jenny.
Mhm.
Um, this is probably overall like I think this was the one where where the director was like, no, no, no. I've seen what you've done before, you tricksters. I am not going to step down to this. And I forget what music video I was watching that was similar to this. There was another music video that was it was another major 90s pop
Oh,
star.
there's so many that took place in a big
Yeah,
warehouse too. That was
yeah.
just the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have what's the name? Turnaround? Bright Eyes? Bright Eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that was another one which I was thinking of with her. But yeah, they definitely spent the most money. And you know, now that I'm watching all this, because there's a lot of Dutch angles in this one too. I think I realized part of the reason they did it. Screen real estate. Because the way they shot all
Oh.
these is this was all delivered in 4:3 format
Okay.
or ratio,
Yes. Pan and scan.
right?
Yeah.
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 And nowadays we shoot in 16:9 or 2:3:9 CinemaScope or 2:1 or 1:8:5 ratios, which is a much more horizontal ratio than vertical. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to put somebody's face in a close up, you go Dutch.
Sounds so dirty when you say it like that.
Yeah. But if you want to get as much
End
of that
quote.
face in there, you turn it on like 90 degrees,
You
or
show
yeah,
that
90
chin
degrees.
profile, sure.
Yeah. And I think that's what they did here. But yeah, this was probably
Nice.
a 2-day shoot, I would think. This is probably 2
Okay.
days.
The most reminiscent to me, and I don't know if this, it's the same year, so I don't know if this came out before they shot this, but Sheryl Crow's Strong Enough is black and white and also
Ah,
focuses on
So
Mm.
Sheryl
her in a
Crow
big room.
stole this idea, is what you're saying.
actually, I think I know exactly the music video you're talking about, and yeah, that's pretty spot on. I think Sheryl Crow's was like again 10% better. You know what I
Just
mean?
10?
Like it was like in a sense of like, oh, but I mean, I shit you not. When I watched this, and I was like, man, they really pulled out. Like they got a good DP. I don't think it's the DP. It almost feels like they hired another unit to come in and handle this, not their show unit.
I mean, if you go back to your union theory about how everyone can only work a certain amount of time, that could be correct. Where they had the film crew that would be union, shoot the television show, and then they worked with the second unit for the music video after a typical
Sure,
day.
sure. And I mean, they also, I mean, if you think about that, if they do a second unit, they might have had more time for this too. You know what I mean? Than they normally would in the show. So that's also where they pump it up here. But yeah, I mean, and the other one which I really like is they have the windshield wipers with just wiper
Yeah.
fluid in the foreground, and I was
It's
like,
a
totally unnecessary, but I'll buy it. I'll buy
practical
all of
effects
this.
over CGI.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like I don't. Did you like any of these songs out of the four we
I
talked about?
I'm gonna be like straight up honest with you.
That's the only way here.
I I don't remember one of these songs. I watched I watched these one time straight through with the sound on,
Okay. Oh,
and then
and
I watched
okay.
them without any music because I just didn't need to
You're
anymore. I
dedicated to
mean,
the
like,
craft. Okay.
I, I wanted the visuals to speak for it, not the music.
Wow, a true auteur you are. I
Yeah.
hate I don't like this song at all. And as George had mentioned, this is the first song on the California Dream soundtrack.
See,
So
that's funny because
It's
this is
not
the
a
one
good way
that
to
grew on
open
me the
a
most.
soundtrack.
Did
Sorry,
you
Zach,
like
what was
this?
that?
Oh, I just don't think it's a good way to open the soundtrack.
It's
It
a
doesn't
poor,
really speak for the tone of the show or the rest of the songs.
Mhm.
it's a very poor way to open up an album, but this is probably the song on it that grew on me the most.
Wow. I mean, I'd say that the verse is better than the chorus, but it just goes on too long. It's a bit too repetitive. Um, and just the fact that we don't know if the guy we never actually see the band play it at a gig. It's just this might just all be in Jenny's head that maybe it's not grounded enough for me. But we do know that nobody has ever talked about these songs more in depth than Surf Dudes with Attitude. So I just want to congratulate us on a season well done of overanalyzing
Still,
the shit of this.
and also, I
Thank
do
you
want to
guys.
point out, still the number one California Dreams podcast.
That's right. We're hanging our hat on
Going
that, John.
strong.
So I don't know if you feel special for being on
I
the
feel
number
privileged.
one.
I feel privileged to be here, to be honest. I
So,
mean,
John, I do have a question for you. What stands out in your mind for the time period as like either the most innovative or like the most standout music video of this era? Not California Dreams, but in general.
You can add that to the
'Cause, like,
list if you want.
For me, like
Yeah,
when I
if
look
one
back,
of these takes the cake.
for me when I look back, I still can't believe that like "Virtual Insanity" by Jamiroquai was able to be made as a
yeah,
music video.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah. You know what? I think I'm just gonna say that because to be honest, I was looking up music videos from 1993 and I was like, what's on here? And whenever that popped up, I was like, nah, that's not right. That can't be. It was that, and actually the other one was Red Hot Chili Peppers. I believe Under the Bridge was also that year.
Oh,
And that music video was ahead of its time as far as more of like this indie
very,
look
go-
for it in a
very
sense of, you know
gonzo.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and it was something that wasn't part of the mainstream style, which these guys were copying. But I would say Jamiroquai was probably, yeah, I mean, that was a feat of engineering to pull that music video off.
Long takes too on
Was
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and wasn't when was Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson with the spaceships?
Oh, I was thinking of that one. I don't even remember the name of that music video.
Scream,
Yes,
Scream.
I think it was 96, 97.
Oh, okay, so it was much later.
Well,
Okay,
I
Yeah.
mean,
never mind.
Jamiroquai,
Then
I think was 96, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I would, and I think though, like as far as maybe memorable, maybe it's because I love the song too, but I really do think like Beastie Boys, Sabotage
Yeah.
Mm.
is, and I think the one reason why I always refer to that music video is just because they shot it on like crappy 16 millimeter cameras, but it did such a good job at parodying what they were doing.
Yeah.
And the song was so good, and they found smart ways to and fun ways to put the actual cast in there or the band in there.
I don't think
So
there's a bad Beastie Boys music video. Like they
this
were
is
so
true.
deliberate in what they did.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, exactly. They were so deliberate. You're spot on to a point though that even whenever it was supposed to look cheap, it was a deliberate cheap.
Right.
And I love that. Where
Yep.
you
I
watch
mean, so-
these and you're like, they were supposed to look expensive. And sometimes there's dummies. You know what I mean?
Well, they didn't
But
fool
that's the
you.
crazy thing.
You're no dummy. You're
Yeah.
no ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
John,
I did have fun.
thanks for coming on. We definitely want to have you back. Should there be any more music videos, we're just going to subject you to all this music, one song at a time or something. So, anyway, if you guys stick around with us, we're going to do a season wrap. We're going to do a gift exchange here, a first annual gift exchange for season 1 of California Dreams.
That's going to be a separate episode, but
we'll see. And anyway, until we see you next time, John, thanks again for hanging out. This is
John,
Pete
thank
from
you
New York,
so much.
Pete from New York City signing
Thanks,
off.
guys.
this has been a Waning Moon production.